I mean, I've seen so many people, they're almost selling their soul just to get those likes and get those shares. Like I've seen it happen. I've noticed with your following, you have a very good ratio of the people that are engaging and liking your stuff and watching your videos as well. Because you haven't, even with YouTube, it's not like you put out loads of content, but it seems to be very much high quality.
Quality over quantity wins every single time, because quality, I don't want to be a bitch to the algorithm. You know, I don't want to be the thumbnail guy. I don't want to be chasing likes. I don't want to be chasing follows. I want to incorporate this into my life. And I don't want this idea of having to be a slave to posting on YouTube or posting on Instagram every single time. And I think people resonate with that. It's not because I'm creating content to acquire new subscribers and new followers. I'm creating content for the people that have already subscribed. So I've kind of taken YouTube in an entire different approach. Instead of being like, okay, let me grow my channel, I've been like, let me honor the people that have actually subscribed to my content and give them the best version of myself. That's why I think people return.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen so many people, they're almost selling their soul just to get those likes and get those shares. Like I've seen it happen on YouTube, especially with Instagram. Like since the introduction of Reels, people are literally just copying other people doing this like stupid stuff they would never normally do
themselves.
Yeah. And like sometimes it does work. Like you get the likes, you get the comments and the shares, but it's just like, at what cost?
I don't want to be an actor, bro. Acting is so fucking tiring and expensive. I want to just be me. And in that refinement of being myself, I want people to resonate with it. I want to be authentic. And I think with that authenticity, I think that's the new meta when it comes to content and what people are actually looking for. People are looking for authentic people that they resonate with. They don't want idols. They want people that they can share something in common with. Yeah, you sure, of course, can have people that inspire you and stuff like this, but if you can have somebody that levels with you and it's like, you know what, homie, like I got you, like I resonate with what you're doing, but here's another level of the game. You know, like I can sit down with you and I'm like, okay, perfect. I need to develop my health in a better aspect. I need to develop my physique. But when I perceive you as a homie. I don't look at you like, oh, here's this influencer, Mike Thurston, like 1.1 million. Oh, crazy. I don't perceive that because I perceive you as human because you're human and you come off that way. So it's also the persona that you've built online. It's not a persona that you've built, it's you. And I think that that's what resonates with people is the fact that you are the best version of yourself and you're showcasing that on a daily basis without having to whore for likes, without having to post bullshit little dancing videos to get likes. And I think that that's what attracts high quality followers and people that fuck with us.
Was there a point in your life where you became fully comfortable with who you were and you were like, do you know what? I get it. Like I understand life. I'm happy with who I am. Was there an age?
I think it's a process. I think it's a process of maturity and understanding that you're always growing and that you're always learning and that you have to treat yourself with grace and compassion. Because if you're not a lover of yourself, if you're not a fan of yourself, who else is going to be a fan of you? If I can't look at myself in the mirror and be like, you know what, Luke, you have shortcomings, but you also have great things. I treat myself like I would treat somebody else, right? Because I'm in a relationship with me. It's not like, oh, I'm just myself. I'm in a relationship with me. So I go through hardships, I go through difficulties, but when I interact with myself, I try to cheer myself up. Like, hey, dude, you're doing well. Like you're crushing. Even if I'm not crushing, right? Like this week I had like a big tax bill come. Right? Big fucking tax bill.
Oh, you can't escape that.
Bro, I can't. Big fucking tax bill. But this is a tax bill from a couple of years ago, right? So
this is you Canadian American?
American. I have my American citizenship. I'm originally from Argentina, but I have my American citizenship. But the situation that arose was like, I think taxes that are due or whatever, it was like almost $1 million. And I'm like, fuck.
In taxes?
In taxes, yeah. So it was, so I get the call from my accountant.
Cool.
Like, you wouldn't have to experience that because you're here, bro. You're here in Dubai. Like, good job.
Oh, it's good for now. I don't know what's going to happen in the future.
I moved to Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is now 4% income tax. So it's the only tax haven for Americans or people that have U.S. citizenships.
But can you escape it fully?
If I give up my citizenship.
Okay,
yeah. But that's also like a situation whereby I need to have multiple passports, which is, I have a couple, but I'm working on them. But I was like, my CPA calls me and I'm like, okay, he gives me the good news. And it's like almost $1 million in taxes for whatever the year was. And I'm like, okay, I'm sitting there and I could have done things better. I could have appropriated money in different ways. But instead of beating myself over the head and being like, you idiot, like you fucked up, or you could have done this better. I look at myself, I'm like, all right, it's part of the game. If it wasn't fun, if it wasn't interesting, then life wouldn't be worth it. So I treat myself with grace and compassion. And I think if people can sense that in them, that you know what you're learning, you're developing, you're growing, that if you mess up, if you fuck up, if you fall, that it's okay. It's the same thing, I guess you would say with experience in the gym. When you mess up on the last set, or like when the weights, you don't hit your full set, right? And you finish at 8 instead of 12. You don't look at yourself, oh, you idiot, you didn't finish. You're like, okay, perfect. It's part of the process. And I treat life the same exact way. I look at my shortcomings and my difficulties, and I'm like, I'm comfortable with that. Like, I'm okay with that. My process is very simple. I plan, I execute, and then I iterate. So I plan my process, I execute my process, and then I iterate. In the iteration is where I become better. Mm-hmm. And unless you have that mental framework of, I'm getting better and better and better and better. Like, you were training 14 years, bro. Like, when you looked at yourself 14 years ago, maybe you could have imagined who you became today. But in the process of becoming who you are today, you don't look back at who you were 14 years ago and you're like, this was a nobody, this was nothing. It's that journey. And I look at my personal development, who I am as a person, the same way. Maybe 20 years from now, I'll look at myself today and be like, oh, I was a kid, I was a chump. Yeah, the same thing, right?
I think I would look at myself and
exactly. So
when I'm like 40.
Yeah. So it's that process, and I'm like, but it's okay. It's the part of the journey. It's the process, and I enjoy it.
Yeah. You seem very self-aware.